Okay, today we're talking about questions that challenge how we handle insults and opposition. Matthew chapter 5 verses 11 through 12 say this. This is the NIV. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. I feel like there's more to that. I almost feel like we should pause and look at verse 13. But it just doesn't change. It just kind of ends there. It goes into the next idea. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, we'll talk about that another time. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. And then it goes into salt and light. So that's it. That's the end of it. What is blessed or blessed? It's not about happy. It's not about momentary joy in the ancient world. This blessed meant being in a state of deep. Did you see how I just rolled over that word I couldn't pronounce? We're just going to skip it. I'm not even going to try to say whatever that is. But anyway, it meant in a state of deep, unshakable well being because of one's relationship with God. It implied honor, favor, and cosmic security, even when the circumstances look bad. Do you feel blessed? So, do you feel blessed? Can you sense, feel, or describe your relationship with God in a way that makes a difference in your blessed life? I'm kind of pondering that myself. Can you sense, feel, or describe your relationship with God in a way that makes a difference in your life? I see these social media posts, hashtag blessed, and it's usually about some article of clothing or a parking spot at the mall or something that's pretty minor joy kind of stuff. And I don't think that's what it's talking about. I don't think that's what this blessing is talking about. Insult, it's more than calling. In an honor and shame culture, like the time that this was written in the first century, it was an insult and a public attempt to strip someone of social status. I think we can relate to that quite a bit these days. We have the whole, um, what do you call it? Ah, it's this shame culture, this shutdown culture, this boycott culture, and we have this. We live in a time where people try to literally shut you down because of maybe you have a different view from them on social media. Uh, Cancel culture. That's the word I'm looking for. Does this sound like the cancel culture that we live in today? Do you live with any fear of being canceled? For good reasons or bad reasons. I mean, sometimes I hesitate to say something that I know is right because there's so many people around that are hell bent on believing something that's horribly wrong, and I imagine them canceling me or just calling me out. This persecution. Are there enemies you perceive or have literally battled in your life? Have you had enemies just literally come at you? I remember one time it was a it was an older lady who who went so far because I had said something that she believed was theologically inaccurate. Like maybe I had said something about pacifism or something about God's love for people and how I don't believe in eternal torture, eternal conscious torment, that kind of thing. And so she literally started looking at every person that I was friends with on a social media platform and sending them private messages about me in a negative way. Like, this guy's horrible. Can you believe? I mean, and these were people that she didn't know. And they started calling me and saying, "Who is this person?" And I was like, I'm sorry. They're nuts. Is that persecution? No, I don't really think it is. It was nothing. It was a mentally challenged person doing mentally challenged things. It really didn't negatively impact my life. Real persecutions when there's a fear of taking away your livelihood or hurting or harming your family. That's real persecution. So, but could it include social exclusion, economic pressure, legal action, violence? Not always physical, often slow, quiet, grounding opposition. Falsely say evil. Here's another line in that to knowingly construct a damaging story. In ancient societies, false accusations were often shared orally, spreading through towns, kinship lines and trading networks. Reputation was currency. I think it is today. I even saw a Black Mirror episode. I don't know if you watch that show. It's pretty creepy and sometimes it's horrible. But there was a Black Mirror episode where everybody like had this number popped up above them, and every time you interacted with anybody, they were asked to review you, and those social media likes or reviews were literally your currency, how you fed your family. And it was a creepy Black Mirror, but it's not so far from the culture we live in today. I feel like this is similar today. Reputation is currency. Do you have concerns about your reputation? I feel, do you worry about how AI may be used to damage your reputation? I'm using AI quite a bit because I'm involved in this company that's doing some AI posts for me. I'm starting to wonder if my hands, it's just, if you're going to wonder, what am I doing with my hand? Sorry. But anyway, sometimes I see these things on AI, these AI videos, and I go, is that real or is that fake? I can tell you now that the deer jumping on the trampoline, that's probably AI fake. And the elephants walking up to people's front door, ring camera doorbells, those are fake. But what's going to happen when AI gets so good that we can't tell what's real and what's fake? I think that's a real issue that we're having to deal with in the coming days. Rejoice and be glad. That passage, it's not about passive endurance. These are active imperatives. Is Jesus telling his listeners to lean into joy or even celebrate joy as an act of rebellion against shame? Well, that's what we should talk about. Let's talk about these things this coming Sunday. How could you lean into joy this week? Then the last line in this passage is about your reward being in heaven. I don't think that's talking about wait until you die, just suffer through this life. Everything's going to be in better in heaven. That I don't think that's what it's talking about at all. In Jewish thought, heavenly reward meant God's vindication, God overturning human verdicts, restoring honor that others tried to take away. It's talking about heaven as a higher it's a higher level of consciousness here on earth, and even that sounds so mystical and creepy that it I don't know how to say it, but maybe we should talk about what does it mean when it says reward in heaven if it's not talking about after you die. When I read reward in heaven, my mind certainly jumps straight to the afterlife because I grew up singing "I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away." I grew up in this religion that was all about what happens after we die, some future by and by kind of thing. But I think that I think that our faith, if it doesn't matter on earth, if it doesn't matter here in our daily life, if it doesn't matter in our work life, in our politics, in our home life, in our community, if it doesn't matter right here, then then it's worthless. You say, no, it's not, Josh. We're going to live for eternity. I think that's true too. But I still think if it doesn't matter right here, right now, then it is garbage and it means nothing. What does blessed actually feel like when life is difficult? What does blessed feel like when life is good? What does blessed feel like when life is boring, when it's lonely, when it's scary? All of these different things are times for us to think about what it means to be blessed. How has your honor or reputation ever been attacked, and how did you respond? These are the questions we want to talk about this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. Why do you think Jesus links insults and persecution with joy instead of survival or escape? Where do you see false accusations shaping communities today, church, politics, workplaces, and families? Does persecution automatically mean someone is right, or can people feel persecuted when they are actually just feeling loneliness or pain of the mistakes that they've made? Is it wrong to walk away from someone who is actually hurting themselves and at the same time everyone around them? What reward do you think Jesus is talking about? Vindication, healing, eternity, inner peace, or something else? How do you personally know the difference between genuine persecution and simple disagreement or discomfort? What's the difference between those two things? Why does Jesus connect his followers with the prophets? What does that lineage imply about speaking truth? What would be good examples of being prophetic today? Remember, I'm not talking about telling something about the future. I'm talking about telling the truth today, standing up for what's right. Um, I was thinking a lot this morning about how silence is complicity, and we shouldn't be silent. How should this teaching reshape the way we respond when someone attacks our reputation? Is it possible to rejoice in the middle of opposition without becoming self-righteous, arrogant, or combative? And how? How do we do that? That's the questions we'll talk about this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. Would love to see you there. Like and subscribe, follow this channel. Use these questions in your own conversations. And if you're in another state, in another place, and you want to have these conversations and you want to put together a little group, a little place for you to talk, do it. Do it. Have these conversations. Encourage one another. This is our passage, Matthew 5:11 and 12. We'll talk about it this coming Sunday at A Place to Talk. Thank you for tuning in.